The SCO summit has finally concluded. Over the last 2 days, a lot has happened in Samarkand. Let's now get you some of the key takeaways from that summit. The first being the crucial Modi and Putin bilateral. It took place on the sidelines of the SCO summit. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi told the Russian President Vladimir Putin that now is not a time for war. New Delhi and Moscow have long-standing ties dating back to the Cold War, and so far Russia remains India's biggest arms supplier. But in their first face-to-face meeting since the Ukraine invasion, Prime Minister Modi stressed on the importance of democracy and diplomacy and dialogue.
The friendly nation of India on the
Excellency, मैं जानता हूं कि आज का युग युद्ध का है नहीं, और हमने फोन पर भी कई बार आपसे इस विषय में बात की है कि डेमोक्रेसी और डिप्लोमेसी और डायलॉग, ये सारी बातें ऐसी हैं कि जो दुनिया को एक स्पर्श करती है। आने वाले दिनों में शांति के रास्ते पर हम कैसे बढ़ सके, उसके विषय में जरूर आज हमें चर्चा करने का मौका मिलेगा।
Meanwhile, Putin told Prime Minister Modi he wanted to end the conflict as soon as possible. He added that he understood India's concerns over the war.
I know your position on the conflict in Ukraine, and I know your concerns, which you are always expressing. We will do everything to end this war as soon as possible.
The Indian Prime Minister also spoke about the economy and made a push for transit rights. He said India will emerge as the fastest growing major economy.
हम भारत को एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब बनाने पर प्रगति कर रहे हैं। भारत का युवा और प्रतिभाशाली वर्कफोर्स को मैं स्वाभाविक रूप से कॉम्पिटिटिव बनाता है। इस वर्ष भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था में 7.5% वृद्धि की आशा है, जो विश्व की बड़ी इकोनॉमीज में सबसे अधिक होगी।
On the other hand, the push for transit rights was a message for Islamabad. Prime Minister Modi said it took many months for India to get transit rights to send supplies to Afghanistan via Pakistan, adding that better connectivity was required for development.
महामारी और यूक्रेन के संकट से ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन्स में कई बाधाएं उत्पन्न हुई, जिसके कारण पूरा विश्व अभूतपूर्व ऊर्जा एवं खाद्य संकट का सामना कर रहा है। एससीओ को हमारे क्षेत्र में विश्वस्त, रेजिलिएंट और डाइवर्सिफाइड सप्लाई चेन्स विकसित करने के लिए प्रयत्न करने चाहिए। इसके लिए बेहतर कनेक्टिविटी की आवश्यकता तो होगी ही, साथ ही यह भी महत्वपूर्ण होगा कि हम सभी एक दूसरे को ट्रांजिट का पूरा अधिकार दें।
But the Modi-Putin bilateral was not the only crucial bilateral. The focus was also on a meeting between Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin. Putin thanked the Chinese leader for his balanced position on Ukraine, but also understood Beijing's questions and the concern over the conflict. The Russian president explicitly backed China over Taiwan, saying that Moscow firmly adheres to the One China policy. Instead, he condemned US provocations in the Taiwan Strait.
Attempts to create a unipolar world have recently acquired an absolutely ugly form and are completely unacceptable.
There was a lot of buzz about a potential Modi-Xi meeting. Since the 2020 Galwan clashes, ties have nosedived between the two Asian giants, so the summit naturally provided an occasion for reconciliation. Both sides did not confirm any meeting, but a week before the summit, New Delhi and Beijing announced disengagement at Gogra Hot Springs PP15. However, the two leaders did not end up meeting at the SCO summit. However, China and Russia congratulated India for taking over the SCO presidency. India will host the SCO summit in 2023. Chinese President Xi Jinping even said that he would support India in organizing the summit But the summit was not all business. On a lighter note, the Russian president wished Prime Minister Modi for his birthday.
I also know that tomorrow, my dear friend, you are about to celebrate your birthday. As per the Russian tradition, we never offer congratulations in advance, so I cannot do that right now. But I would like you to know that we know about that, and we wish you all the best. We wish all the best to the friendly Indian nation, and we wish prosperity to India under your leadership.
And with us on the broadcast this minute, our correspondents, Sidhant and Anas Mallick. They've both been tracking those developments very closely and are joining us live from Samarkand in Uzbekistan. Sidhant and Anas, it's been a very eventful day. I want to come to Sidhant first to talk about the crucial Modi-Putin bilateral and the key takeaways and the messaging that came forth, and a lot of talk about the optics and what the two sides are hoping to achieve from here onwards as well.
Well, Molly, we saw the meeting between the two leaders, and this is the first in-person meeting between the two leaders since the Ukraine conflict. That is why this is a significant meeting, and there was a strong emphasis on Ukraine conflict. Both the leaders mentioned Ukraine conflict. Russian president made a big statement by saying that he hopes that the conflict can come to an end soon, and pointed out that he understands the concerns of New Delhi, something that he also mentioned to the Chinese president yesterday, talking about the concerns about China. Now, when it comes to the Indian Prime Minister, he also made a big point. He said that this is not an era of war, and diplomacy and dialogue is the only way forward. He also highlighted that how Moscow helped along with Ukraine in terms of evacuation of Indian nationals, most of them students, since the Ukraine conflict began in February. So there was a mention, but there were softer moments as well. The Russian president talked about the birthday of Indian Prime Minister, who celebrates his birthday tomorrow, but said that he can't wish because according to Russian traditions, you can't wish in advance. But by and large, the body language was warm, and for Russia, it is an important moment because we know that Russia faces sanctions and isolation by the West. Meeting with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and of course the Chinese President Xi Jinping here in Samarkand is a big shot in the arm for the Russian president, who of course can use these occasions and moments to tell to the West that he is not isolated. There are Asian giants like India and China with whom there is an engagement ongoing.
Indeed. Anas, let's also talk about the key takeaways when it comes to Pakistan, the way it approached the summit, and the kind of expectations that Islamabad really had when it comes to this summit and what it has been able to achieve.
Well, two things. First, Pakistan has lowered the temperature between India and Pakistan by not waking up Kashmir for the first time since 2019 at any multilateral forum. So this is a first. That's the first key takeaway from this meeting or from this participation. Secondly, what is also to be noted is that when Shehbaz Sharif flew from Islamabad to Samarkand, what he had on the agenda was engagement, engagement and engagement. The book was open. Anything and everything that came in was to be written, and that was the actual thing that we saw transpire. There were 11 bilateral meetings, most by any other than the host here in Samarkand, any other visiting delegation being held in Samarkand. The most number of meetings, also the most number of meetings by any Pakistani Prime Minister on the sidelines of the SCO since Pakistan attained a full-time membership of the grouping. So pretty significant there. The Pakistani Foreign Minister speaking to WION, saying, terming this visit a considerable, successful visit, and in terms of numbers or tangibility, it's a reflection that they've got 11 bilaterals. How much does of it transpires into practical actions? That's a question that only time can tell, and we will get to know. We'll be tracking it much more closely. Molly?
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.